$1 million app in 1 hour. And I know this because I've made Build My Agent, which is a web app that's also coded with Cloud Code, which is making me $106,000 in monthly recurring revenue. And this is the exact workflow and method that I use to build $1 million apps. Choose AI Pal's personality, Sunny, calm, direct. I like Sunny. And I just click get started. Tell me about your day. I am listening. It's going very well. That's wonderful to hear. What has been the highlight of your day so far? I just successfully built an iOS app with coding. That's amazing. Building an iOS app is a fantastic achievement. I can then click up here. I can export the chat, go into our settings. I can change all of these things. And it's a real iOS app. Isn't that fucking cool? To create an iOS app using Xcode, you need to have a MacBook. So if you don't have a MacBook, that's unfortunately not possible with this method. So here's how to actually start building your custom apps and build whatever it is that you can imagine. First step is that you head inside of ChatGPT or any AI chat platform. And the reason you want to start here is because you want AI to create a detailed plan for what you want to achieve. So if I write, I want to create an MVP. MVP stands for minimal viable product, and that's what you start with. That's to test the idea, to test if it's even a good idea, and if it's something you should continue to work on. So we want the base version of the actual product. I want to create an MVP for an iOS app that I will be building in Xcode. I want it to be an AI pal app where I can write with my AI pal. I can talk about my day and how it's going. I want a clean interface and the logic that enables me clean UI UX interface. Keep it simple first, and then we write, I want you to create the implementation plan. What services should we be using? How should it look? Create a detailed plan that I can give to Cloud Code that enables it to one-shot my app. And then we just hit enter. And now it will create us a detailed plan for how we actually build this AI pal app. You can see it even creates the file and structure, gives us the entire detailed plan for how we should actually do this. Something that you need to watch out for though is that it might make it too detailed or add too much stuff. For now, for example, I just want to be able to type with my AI. I don't care about the voice feature. So I'm going to tell it to, I want the most basic MVP. So remove the voice functionality from the plan, and also remove the file folder structure, since I will get Xcode to create this. Provide the entire plan back to me with these updates. It's very important that you don't just take the plan that it gives to you. You need to read it through, make sure it sounds good. What you can even do is that you can take this plan, you can paste it into ChatGPT in another session and ask it, how can we make this better? Not by adding more features, but making more clear and concise with just the things that you need in order to test it. The mistake that most people do when they code an app with AI or when they code an app in general is that they spend way too much time building without even knowing if it's a good idea. So what you want to do is that you just want to get something out there, you want to get the MVP built, And then after you get your first couple of users, that's when you iterate and make the product better. There we go. Now we have an updated plan which is simpler, and we want it to be as simple as possible when we start out. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to download this one. And I'm going to download it as a markdown document, an MD file, because this is what we have as a plan. You can see it says AI Pal right here. And here we have the plan, structured very nice. So what I'll do now is that I'll open this and I'll actually rename it, and I'll call it AI Pal Implementation Guide. We wanted to give it a name that makes it easy for our AI when it starts building it to reference back to it. So AI Pal Implementation Guide is a fine name to give it. What you want to do now is that you want to install Xcode, and you can find it inside of App Store. To create an iOS app using Xcode, you need to have a MacBook. So if you don't have a MacBook, that's unfortunately not possible with this method. There are workarounds, but to build it using Xcode, you basically just download Xcode from the App Store, and then you open it. And it looks like this. And then you create a new project like this. You choose app and you click next, and you give it a name. Let's call it AI Pal. And then you add an account. You just write in your Apple ID, and then you choose yourself from the team. And then you want to write in your company name if you've set up a company. I'm just going to write Shiny. That's my AI agency name. And I click next. Then you choose where you want to build it. So I'm just going to choose the desktop right here, click create. You can see now it creates the folder for the AI Pal, and it also creates the code structure. And it's very important that we get Xcode to create the code structure, because Claude Code is not really that good at creating it from the start. And I give it access to run on my computer. Awesome. The next step is installing Claude Code. The way you get started with Claude Code is that you just search Claude Code in your browser. You click in on this one, and you can see your code's new collaborator. And then it's very simple. You just take this code right here, and you open your terminal, and then you insert it, because this will install Claude Code on your machine. Now I've already done it, so I don't need to, but you need to hit enter right here. After you've hit enter, now you can write Claude in your terminal and hit enter, and it'll show this right here. You click allow, 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 allow full access, and then you hit 1. Now Claude Code has access to your computer. Now I'm already logged in, but for you it will say that you need to log in with your Claude account. And for that you need one of these plans. You can start out with Pro. You get more usage. If you really want to do a lot of coding, I'd recommend getting you either the $100 or the $200 a month max plan. I have the $200 a month, and it has been the most worth investment that I've ever made for my business. And with the max plan, you get 20x more usage than the Pro plan. After you've logged in, you will see this right here. I can write /. This opens up all the commands, and then I can write clear just to clear the chat. And I'll make this terminal a little larger. Now I want to go inside of our actual folder. So I can just tell Claude to cd. This means to go into a directory. And then I open my Finder, and I open the app that we just made inside of desktop, the AI Pal one. I choose this top one because this is where we want to be. And I just drag in this folder right here into Claude, and I'll tell it to go inside of this folder. If I hit enter, you can see Claude is now running this command. I'll change the working directory to the AI Pal project folder, just like this, and it's going to say success. Now Claude is inside of this folder, and it can read all the files from it. And now you are ready to start coding. So what I'll do now is that I will take the implementation plan that we just created. Inside of downloads, I'll drag that into Claude, just like this. You can see now it has access to the guide. Then I'll tell it to please read this implementation plan. Don't update any code yet. First, get an understanding of my code base and what I want to create. Now Claude Code will read the implementation plan, and it will understand it, or understand what we actually want to do. The reason that I don't want it to code yet is because we don't want to rush any changes. I want Claude to get a full understanding of the project before it starts coding at all. Now it makes to-dos for itself, like explore the existing code base, explore the current situation that we're in, the current code files, and we'll just let it cook for a couple of minutes. This is really not a process that you want to rush. You want to give Claude all the context that it needs. That is really the coding game today. It used to be that you want to give Claude the best prompts possible, but the game has changed. Now the goal is to feed as good context to the model as possible, so it has the information it needs in order to make good decisions for actually how to update the code. Rate work based on my implementation plan here. Please start creating the code. Do it like this. I want you to add. Here's a quick tip. If you do it like this, I want you to add brackets as checkboxes to the implementation file. When you have completed a step, write an X inside of the brackets like this. So we know that the step is complete. Think step by step and make the app work first try. This is a really good idea because sometimes the model can get stuck, or it thinks that it has already done something, or it hasn't already done something, and then it tries to update it again. So outlining that it can use checkboxes with the square brackets and then the X inside of it is a genius way of letting the AI know where it actually is. And now you can see it has created an entire to-do of what it needs to be able to do. And now the AI model will literally just code our entire app for us. It's going to come up with this. Do you want to edit the file like this? And you can either type 1 for yes, you can type 2 for yes for this session only, or you can also type 3 if you want to do something different. I trust Claude now, so I'm just going to write 2, because now it will make all the changes by itself without asking us for permission. The important thing here is that you need to control what the model actually does, and it's a whole skill. It's not as easy as it seems online that you just go in and write, build me an app, and it's going to do it successfully. And when you start off, it's just going to be vibe coding, and you might have some bugs. But when you iterate how you work, and when you start doing it in a controlled way, where you control what the model actually does, and you can tell it to do it differently, that's when you start to become really good and be able to create really cool apps very, very quickly. So don't just expect to go in and make an awesome app right off the bat. It is a skill that you need to learn, but when you learn it, it's going to be so worth it. And it's going to probably kind of pop up with all of these things that it needs access to. So just make sure to write in your password a bunch of times to make sure it has the access it needs in order to update the code. And now you'll actually be able to see that inside of Xcode, it's actually making updates to the code in order to create the AI-PAL app. What I can actually do is I can write always allow right here, so I don't have to write in my password 100 million times. And you can see now it starts checking off the initial steps. Starting out, it can be a bit hard to set this all up correctly and run it. So while it's cooking, I want to show you a really cool tip. If you go inside of your browser and you search Google AI Studio like this, go to Google AI Studio, you're logged in with your account, and you go to stream like this, you click the stream button right here, and you click share screen. You allow it to share the screen, just like this, entire screen, click share. Now you can actually talk to the AI and it can see your screen in real time. So you can see right now, we are talking to the AI and it can actually see our screen. So what are we seeing right now, Gemini?
I can see your screen, which is currently showing an Xcode window. It looks like you're working on some Swift code. specifically in a content view.swift file, and there's a preview showing a hello world text with a globe icon.
The cool thing about this is if you run into issues, the AI can actually see your screen and help you solve it. So instead of having to paste in screenshots and then show it to ChatGPT, you can just talk to the AI in real time and get it to understand stuff. Isn't that right, Gemini?
Yes, that's a significant advantage. Real-time visibility makes it easier to understand the context of your issue more effectively, providing more immediate and accurate assistance. It streamlines the troubleshooting process by eliminating the need for manual screenshots and explanations.
Exactly. So I'm gonna stop the stream now just because I don't need it. But when you go through the process, if you run into any issues or you have any questions, make sure to use the streaming model right here, because this can really help you out. Now you can see it's building all the files, and this can take a while. It can take like between 10 or 20 minutes. But it'll go through all the steps, it'll use our implementation plan, and then it will create the code and create the app for us. So while it's cooking, I'll go out, I'll make some more coffee. But the coffee going, it's honestly amazing the time that we live in, that you can literally just build production level apps in a couple of hours and potentially make millions of dollars online with them. You can see almost halfway through right now. As of now, it has set up the Swift data models. And here's the thing, I don't even know what Swift data is. I have never actually coded a mobile app before. I just know that the model knows what it's doing if I guide it and give it the right implementation plan. You know you're doing something right when the AI is building an app for you and you're bored because you have nothing that you can do. I guess I'll do some push-ups or something. Oh, 20. And you can see it's starting to add folders. It's starting to add models, repos. I'll go out. I'll bring my coffee with me, enjoy life on the balcony, and then I'll be back when this is done. There we go. Now it is finished. What I can do now is that I can head into Xcode, click this button right here, and then it starts building, and it gives us some errors. So just click the error right up here. I can right click on the error, I can copy it, and I can paste it inside of Claude, and I can see what is wrong. And you can see it now starts to update our code to fix the errors. Now you can see it says that it's fixed the error. So I just do this a couple of times. I go back and I build it again and see if it runs into any more issues. You can see it does. So just like before, I copy the bug and I paste it into Claude and get it to fix it. To actually try and run the app, what I do is that I go up and I click Get right here, which will open up this download. So you need to download the simulator and it'll say Get right here, right next to this. You can also see we have a bunch of bugs right here. So I just one by one copy all of those in and get it to fix it again. Something that is very worth to do as well is to save your project as you build it inside of GitHub. And GitHub basically allows you to save a state of your file, which means that if you want to go back, if you build something and you don't like it, you want to go back in history for the code, you can do that using GitHub. So what you do is that you go inside of GitHub, you create an account if you don't already have one, and then you go to your repositories in the right-hand corner. You click New right here, and I just choose my own account, and I write AI Lab, for example. For the visibility, I just choose private because I don't want other people to see the code inside of my app, and then I just click Create Repository. Just like this. And what I can do now is that I can give this GitHub URL right here to Claude Code. And I can ask it, please please push my code to GitHub. So we save it in the out. And I just paste in the URL and I click enter. And what this will do is it'll basically save a version of our code so we can go back to it in the future if we want to. And you can see it says that we just go through these commands and we get it to install it and push this to the cloud. Just go through all of these commands. And now it wants to commit. This is basically pushing the files or saving all of the files that we have just updated and then saving it in the cloud. So just write yes. And now it pushes it to the cloud. Just like that. It says success. And if I go to the repository now and I click refresh, you can see now we have all our code inside of our GitHub repo right here, which is exactly what we want to. So what I can now do is, as we go, I can tell it to save a version of the code. Every time I make a change that I'm happy with, I can tell it to update it so it pushes it to the cloud, because this means in the future, if we run into some bug, we can go back in history and we can restore our file. And this is very important when you start building. So we're just waiting for this simulator to download right now. And in the meantime, I can still go back and I can fix all of these bugs. There's a warning right here. I can copy that in, paste it into Cloud Code, and get it to fix it. See, it fixed the extension. And now it even does it by itself. It commits this and pushes it, so it fixes it. And now you can see now that error is gone. Still says all of these errors though, so we have more work to do. And now it actually takes these changes that we just made and it pushes it to the GitHub, which is really cool. So what I can do now is that I can go inside of GitHub and now the updates will actually be pushed. You can see we just made a new commit inside of commit right here. Here you can see the changes that you made. And we fixed the URL extension right here, which is the update that we just made. And there we go. Now it's completed. So now I can just lock this down. Now I can select a simulator. So I want to see how it looks on, let's say, an iPhone 16. So I click that and then I click this run button right here. And let's see if it actually builds this time. You can see it says build failed again. So we go back, we copy the error right here, copy it back into Cloud, and we get it to fix it. So now it's fixed. I go back, I run the build again. Let's see if it builds this time or if there's another bug. Build failed. Here outline is inaccessible, so I copy this bug in again. We still need to push this to our GitHub. Get ready for the next bug, Claude. There'll be multiple of them. It fixed the bug again and it pushes to GitHub, which is nice. So I'm gonna click the build once again for the iPhone 16. Let's see if it works now. Build failed again. It still didn't fix it. And you just keep doing this over and over and over again until Claude has fixed all the bugs. It said it fixed it. It's just committing and pushing to GitHub again. So let's make sure we choose the iPhone 16. We click run again. Let's see if it builds this time. It did. Let's go. And now you can see it opens up the emulator, which is an iPhone 16. So this will just load and then we'll be able to test the app. Now open and close our app. There you go. Now it opened the app. It says, hey, I'm your AI pal. Want to journal together? Click next. This, what should I call you? Albert. Click next. Choose AI pal's personality. Sunny, calm, direct. I like Sunny. Next. Final setup. It wants an OpenAI API key. I could of course set this in the future just to use an OpenAI API key by default. But to test it, I'll now go ahead and get an OpenAI API key. Just by going to OpenAI, creating an API key, calling it app test, insert it right here. And I just click get started. Tell me about your day. I am listening. It's going very well. That's wonderful to hear. What has been the highlight of your day so far? I just successfully built an iOS app with coding. That's amazing. Building an iOS app is a fantastic achievement. What inspired you to create this app? I wanted to show people how easy and accessible AI apps are today. That's such a valuable message. Pretty cool, huh? And look how professional it looks. I can then click up here, I can export the chat, go into our settings, I can change all of these things, and it's a real iOS app. Isn't that fucking cool? If I wanted to, so let's say, add multiple different personalities, or I wanted to update things, I then go back into my Claude and I tell it what I want to update. And then after every change, I just click this build here again. It's going to run the app again, and it will update the app. So you can, with real words, literally just code an entire app. Isn't that fucking cool? When you have built your app and you are ready to launch it on the App Store, you first need an Apple developer account. And you get that by searching Apple developer. And you just click the first link that pops up at developer.apple.com. And here you basically just sign up for an account. This costs $99. When you have signed up for an account, you then search for Apple Store Connect. You go through the flow on Apple Store Connect right here. You log in and then you submit your app for review. To just go through this flow, it usually takes a couple of days, and it's actually not that easy to get your app accepted. But you just iterate, you go back and forth with them until they publish your app. And that is the entire flow. That's how you build and launch a iOS app. If you have any questions, then make sure to leave them below. As always, guys, have a wonderful day. Let me know in the comments what you guys end up creating.